Today's art challenge is inspired by contemporary sculptor Tara Donovan. Tara Donovan is based in New York. She uses everyday, ordinary materials to construct her sculptures. Even though the materials she uses are machine-made and mass-produced, the work she creates is amorphous, undulating, and organic. Using ordinary mass-produced objects in her sculptures allows her to reproduce form in such quantities that it begins to look like something you would see under a microscope, like a living organism. Tara Donovan's work usually takes the form of an installation. An installation is a work that is actually constructed at the museum or the art gallery. She'll design it in her studio, then construct it on site. When it's time to move, she has to take it all apart. Sometimes her work hangs from the ceiling, sometimes it's on the floor, and sometimes it's installed against a wall. Donovan uses objects in quantity to create entirely new textures that you wouldn't think that they possessed on their own, to create new textures and new forms that the objects don't have individually. This one is made with plastic cups, filling a whole room. And even though the concept is the same, you can see that it actually comes out differently at different museums. Can you guess what these shining, undulating pillars are made out of? CDs. These sculptures look like stalactites in a cave. They're actually buttons. Because she usually works with just one type of material at a time, her works are usually monochromatic, that is, just one color. These spheres are made out of mylar. Mylar is a thin, shiny plastic, a lot like paper. She cut the mylar into circles, rolled them into cones, and created each of these spheres by attaching dozens of cones together into a ball. Even though she uses materials that are manufactured and mass-produced, her sculptures look natural, organic. They look like they could be moving or growing. Do you see what these are? When you get close, you can see they're pencils. But when you're looking from a distance, it looks like an island covered with a city. She often fills up the whole floor of a gallery space, but in this case, she has suspended her work from the ceiling. Can you tell what this one is? Styrofoam coffee cups. Honestly, it's hard to appreciate how fascinating her work is in person when you can only see it from a photograph. This work is clear drinking straws laid on their side and pushed back or forth with her hands to create a cloud-like texture. I've been lucky enough to see her work in person twice, and works like this are fascinating because they look different depending on where you're standing. Is this from a coral reef under the sea? No, they're coffee filters. This one's hard to figure out. Let's look closer. You got it. It's slinkies. Maybe she accidentally got her slinkies tangled up and decided to just go with it. Many people think that Tara Donovan's work has a magical, otherworldly quality, but she's clear it actually takes hard work and experimentation to make these sculptures work. When she starts working with material, she doesn't necessarily know how it's going to turn out. She and her assistants try many different ways of arranging and manipulating and attaching the materials to see how the forms can best be expressed. The materials themselves are true partners in the creativity. Sometimes her works are held together by tape or glue, and sometimes it's just gravity. This cube of toothpicks is about 4 feet high, and the only thing holding it together is friction and gravity. The way she did it was she took a cardboard box and then she filled it with the toothpicks, shaking them out in handfuls so they would all fall in all different directions. She kept shaking the box so that everything would compress and fall in together. The millions of toothpicks are compressed before she even gets to the site. Then, in the museum, they carefully turn the box over, slide the bottom out, and pull the rest of the box out up very carefully. And if they're successful, it will stay together in that cube for the entire exhibition. Another reason you should not touch the art. If it doesn't hold together, there'll be a whole lot of cleanup. She usually creates the toothpick cube right next to this one made out of sewing pins, using the same method. No glue, just friction and gravity. You can see along the bottom edges how pins are starting to fall off. That slow collapse of the work is part of the organic nature of the form. This one is fascinating to watch being created. There are videos online that you can see them actually making this at the gallery site. This work goes next to the toothpicks and the pins. It's the same size and shape. But this one is made with glass. And the glass is that type of safety glass that they put in car windshield. It's made to break into harmless little pieces instead of sharp shards. So they get it into the museum unbroken. They take the sides off the crates, and you guessed it, they carefully hit it with a hammer in place. So the whole thing is shattered, but still stacked up together. You gotta wonder, how many times did she try that before it actually worked? And now it's your turn. Your assignment is to make a sculpture out of ordinary manufactured materials. You want the focus of the sculpture to be on just one or maybe two types of materials. So see if you can make the whole thing out of washers or bobby pins or bottle caps. These works are not Tara Donovan. These are works made by other artists, sometimes even student artists, using ordinary materials. This one is safety pins. They held together by themselves. But these toothpicks obviously had some kind of glue. The more invisible the adhesive, the better. This artist used folded paper plates, and this one is egg cartons. See how you can manipulate your materials to make them interlocking and self-supporting. Clothespins, toothbrushes. This bottle cap robot has a little more variation, and these zip ties are attached to some sort of superstructure. It's hard to tell. Cotton balls, plastic cups. Think about what ordinary, inexpensive materials you could use to make your sculpture. The paper goods section in your discount store is a good place to start. Or look through your trash or your recycling. Your art teacher may already have a collection of materials ready to be made into something new. Look around, experiment. It may not work the first time. You may have to completely change your materials. You may have to completely change your method. Don't decide what it's going to look like before you start. Just play around and see what the materials want to be. And when you're done with that, you can find more artist challenges on the Heidi How YouTube channel.